Life and love, no in between. Positive about everything. Growing and we're glowing. Praying, just keep going, going. Joule drop, Joule drop, Joule drop, Joule
Second and fourth Friday on Facebook Live at 7 p.m. Central.
Yes, don't forget to follow our social media pages. We are on Facebook at The Joule Drop. We are on Instagram, The Joule Drop. And you can go to our still new website to us,
Yes.
www.thejouledrop.com. That's Joule, JouleDrop.com, where you can submit suggestions, submit your Do It for the Cultures, and purchase the wonderful merch that we have available.
Absolutely. Okay, so we have a full show planned for you all tonight. We are going to bring forward a conversation that is near and dear to my heart, and hopefully you get to learn a little more about the process and the journey.
Spider, they're saying no sound.
No sound?
Okay. Can y'all hear us now?
Let us know if you can hear us. Thank you guys for tuning in. I see Shonda, Aretha. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
We appreciate it. And let us know if you guys can hear us, if the sound is good.
I'm going to try to sit up and get close to the mic. Mic check.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Excellent. So we are going to, if you did not hear that, if you didn't catch that, this is the Joule Drop. It's the online radio show dropping jewels for the generations, where we facilitate dialogue to impact, inspire, connect, and encourage the masses. You can catch our show every second and fourth Friday at 7 p.m. Central on Facebook Live. My name is Nina B. This is my co-CEO, my co-chief encouragement officer, aka co-host, aka co-creator, aka co-doing life with, co-everything, Natural Quiche.
Yes, and you can follow us on our social media platforms. We are on Facebook, The Joule Drop. We are on Instagram at The Joule Drop, and you can go to our website again, where you can leave comments. Let us know if you have any Do It for the Culture mentions, or purchase any merch that we have available at www.jouledrop.com, thejouledrop.com. That's Joule drop.com.
Excellent. It looks like everyone is saying they can hear us now. So thank you guys for tuning in. And if you shared, thank you so much. Make sure you invite a friend into the conversation. As we start every episode, we are going to begin with our awareness minute. There are a lot of awarenesses. In the month of October, we have domestic violence awareness, breast cancer awareness, also mental health week, mental health awareness, and all of the other awarenesses. But there seems to be one that is not talked about as frequently, and that's pregnancy loss and infant loss awareness. So that is what our conversation will be built off of this evening. So getting into some stats around pregnancy and infant loss awareness. So 1 in 4 pregnancies ends in miscarriage. Some stats, and there were some reports from some sources that every 1 in 4 women will experience a miscarriage. But if you look at it from the perspective of 1 in every 4 pregnancies ending in miscarriage, you can see that it's a lot more common and a lot more frequent than I'm sure that we would all like to see. And of course, miscarriages happen for different reasons. But that really stood out because it's not just every 4th woman, it's every 4th pregnancy. And so it kind of quadruples what you would think is actually occurring in terms of stats. And that's not to mention the pregnancies that some women don't even know about. Like if a woman hasn't been able to confirm a positive pregnancy. Another stat is that 1 in 160 pregnancies end in stillbirth. And that too was also alarming. You can see why this would be a topic that we would want to go ahead and have a conversation around. And if you just bear with us for a few minutes, it's going to get a little more positive as soon as we're able to bring our special guest in. So we just want to make sure that we set the stage for the conversation. And then finally, last stat, Black American Indian and Alaska Native women
are twice as likely to experience stillbirth compared to non-Hispanic whites. Some of those things would be due to a lower quality maternal health care, socioeconomic factors, and structural racism in health care.
I think all 3 of those could take us down a completely different lane in terms of pregnancy loss and infant loss, because we're aware that there is a
huge disparity.
Yeah, a disparity when it comes to communities of color in terms of healthcare being available or provided. And then, of course, what types of healthcare is offered. And usually, I know women of color, of course, are more frequently recommended for hysterectomies. So maybe a woman would have been able to have or bear a child of her own if there was better health care being provided and not just jumping to an immediate recommendation of
sterilization. Topic of conversation is definitely one to kind of for us to touch on exactly how you feel emotionally when you experience a loss like that, but then to be told that you were the reason why. There could have been a number of things that could have been in place. She may not have known she was pregnant at the time, and then she had the miscarriage. But nonetheless, yes, racism and socioeconomic factors do play a part in why those women or women of color experience stillbirths more often.
Shonda, thank you. I see Dallas is tapping in heavy tonight. Thank you all. Kiana, Angela, May, PV, thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys. We appreciate your support, of course. And then another part of that, of course, is the mental health capacity and just how emotionally draining, spiritually draining and broken someone can feel after suffering a loss like that, whether it's full term to stillbirth or a miscarriage. Again, not something that is talked about frequently enough. And so tonight we are going to, I think, have some healing fostered in the conversation. We will be joined here in the studio shortly by our special guest, Miss Zal Harris, Zal Harris. I want to make sure I get that right.
I'll give her her RS.
Absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely.
Her RS degree.
Yes. And so if you or anyone you know is suffering from mental health issues, doesn't necessarily have to be a mental health issue, make sure you reach out and obtain support. And if you are on your mental health journey and you need a tool to assist you with said journey, you can head over to selfcarewins.com. Is that the website?
That is the website.
Okay, I memorized it. Selfcarewins.com, and you can pick up your self-care over everything journal.
Yes, to help you on your therapy journal journey, and also available for pre-order now are the couple workbooks. So if you are an established couple and you all would like to embark on couples counseling, think about getting a set of workbooks to help you through that journey. Or if you are newly engaged and you are about to get your MRS degree, don't forget your premarital counseling. And I have a Before We Marry workbook where you can get those tough conversations started and on the way before you actually walk down the aisle. So your mental health,
yes,
is important.
All great coping tools. And we would love to hear from you guys tonight. You can tune in or chime in during the conversation at any time. We are checking social media responses, and you can also call in 972. Is it 863-8600? I did it. 880.
What?
972-863.
8860.
8860. Yes. Okay. First time I've ever remotely remembered the number. 972-863-8860. Aretha, all the way from New York, thank you. We'll try not to keep you too long tonight, but we appreciate you tuning in.
Thank you.
From the East Coast. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be joined in the studio by Mrs. Zal Harris. Stay tuned in to the Joule Drop. We will be right back.
Life and love, no in between. Positive about everything. Growing and we're glowing. Praying, just keep going, going. Joule Drop, Joule Drop, Joule Drop, Joule Drop.
Welcome back to the Joule Drop right here on Power Play Podcast TV. I am your co-host, Natural Keith, and I am here with my co-host, my co-CEO, that would be my Chief Encouragement Officer, Miss Nina B.
Yes, happy Friday. And we are joined in studio with Mrs. Zal Harris.
Hello, hello, hello.
Thank you for just sharing your testimony and journey with us as we unpack our main topic of discussion, which is, of course, carrying on after
Absolutely.
a miscarriage. Just to give everyone some background, this was near and dear to my heart. We've been on air 3 years, and I cannot recall how much I have shared about myself with everyone. But I think you guys are going to be in for a great conversation, testimony, healing, deliverance if you needed all of that. Right here on the Joule Drop, we just gonna usher it right on in. So
Come on,
this is the right. This is the online radio show dropping jewels for the generations, where we facilitate dialogue to impact, inspire, connect, and encourage the masses. You can catch our show every second and fourth Friday at 7 p.m. Central on Facebook Live.
And don't forget to follow our social media platforms. We are at the Joule Drop on Facebook, at the Joule Drop on Instagram. I don't know what's wrong with me today.
It's okay. It's been a long week. I opened the show with that.
Baby.
It's been a long week.
Whew.
That's okay. We all riding together today, friend.
That's right.
Yeah.
And go to our website. www.thejouledrop.com. That's JOULE, where you can go and submit topics, submit your Do It for the Culture mentions for us to present, and purchase merch to wear. It's getting cold outside. Get your hoodie, boo.
Yes. Well, the hoodies aren't out there yet on the site, but
Almost.
I'm working on it. So we have a lot of people tuned in tonight. I first off want to honor Joelle, your helpmate, who is here in studio with you tonight and tuned in. So salute and shout out to you, sir. I see Honesty from NC, Drea from CA, Cali.
Yeah.
Hey sis, love you. Hey Calandra, I see you out there. We love you. Thank you for setting all of this up tonight because this is really based on everyone's connection to you, so we appreciate you. I see Honesty out there. Thank you for tuning in. And a lot of people are saying, hey Zal. So Aretha, Honesty, Joelle,
Everybody saying hey. You
yeah,
got hearts.
Shonda, we got hearts. So thank you guys for tuning in, showing some love and showing some support. I think we can go ahead and jump into the main topic.
Yeah,
So
let's jump in.
Zal, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
And you can start anywhere. This is not a trick question.
Okay, cool. I am actually an Arkansas native, and I just recently moved 2 years ago. I feel like when you move to Texas, you have to really take like a grace period of like 3 years to get adjusted to the booming metropolis because it's a change. What a change.
Or were you from a small town?
Yes, I'm
okay.
from a small town where the horses and cows were neighbors, and
Yeah, you
You
probably
hear
need
crickets.
that time to adjust.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
yeah. Now you hear sirens and hey, turn that down. All of the works. So, it has been an amazing journey from transitioning to Texas and growing and seeing what that looks like. God has done some amazing things, some unspeakable, like straight out of the movie things in my life. And with that, in recent years, Joelle and I began dating in 2019. We just got married August the 7th. And so we just only got a couple months in,
Yay.
And, I love him still. Cook for him. Make sure he eats. I appreciate you, Joelle, for keeping me grounded. He is truly a covering, so I honor him. So in that transition, it's kind of been hard to like make connections and meet like-minded people, and knowing that your circle doesn't necessarily have to expand, but it needs to elevate. So like really trying to make sure I keep the door open, because in those times, before Joelle moved here, I was in bouts of depression because I was isolated. Like I can't find my people and things of that nature. And so right now I currently work in an accounting role with a major truck dealership operation wise, supporting the sales department and things of that nature. On the side, make soap, encourage, pray a little bit, encourage people a little bit, uplifting people, building the kingdom. So that's just about it. Yeah.
It's a lot. So you've had some major changes within the past
Oh, yes.
few years, just a short amount of time relocating, getting married, inheriting bonus babies.
Yes.
Yes. Some big adjustments, all while, again, as you said, trying to maintain and serve and
Get connected with the right people.
all which
elevate your circle.
You like
yes,
that?
I'm
Yeah.
actually, I was trying to tag you for saying it because I did type it. That's why I was typing, but then I'm like, I can't.
Yes.
Tag her.
Elevate your circle. You don't have to grow it. Just elevate.
I'm gonna just give you a nice hashtag tonight. It's gonna be Zal V.
Okay. I'm with it.
Y'all get into it. Hashtag Zal V. All right. So lots of changes within the past few years in a short time span. You also mentioned bouts of depression due to isolation. Tell us a little bit about what, I don't want to say what occurred with your more recent experience in terms of the topic, but maybe that's a later question to unpack in terms of whether or not the loss caused her to cycle back into depression. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. But I don't want to take us there too fast.
Right.
I'm really trying to ease us in, but I'm so like,
You ready?
I know, I'm so passionate about it. I'm ready to start having the conversation. So, So tell us a little bit about your loss.
Okay. So about the loss of the angel baby, I will say, Joelle and I had talked and discussed well before through marriage counseling, even outside of marriage counseling, like how would our family look like? We already have two beautiful twin boys and a girl, Jarrell, Tyree, and Imani. And, it's like, are you done? Do you want more? Things of that nature, honoring, what each other desire going forward. And, after the wedding, we were like, do we, after the wedding happens, do we want to hurry up and start, or do we want to delay,
Or wait, yeah.
or are we not going to be obsessive about it and just say whatever happens, happens? And we were like, whatever happens, happens, because we didn't want those American standards or those society standards to be the checklist according to the Bible. That is the complete opposite. And wanted to keep the standard of it being a God-covered marriage versus what people in our circle who wants to be in our circle or allude to thinking what our next steps are.
Yeah.
Our house
Like,
comes
baby, y'all
first.
married, so y'all, when y'all
the
gonna start?
kids,
Yeah, okay.
the kids coming. When they come, whenever they get here, I don't know. Am I, do I put the baby in the microwave and then it's ready in 2 minutes?
That instant gratification and wanting to speed everything along.
Right.
Yeah.
And as if a child validates what God has ordained already. Like, as if, having a someone court you validates that you're worthy of a woman or man to be had or to be loved, or you're worthy to be married because he proposed to you, girl, and things of that nature. So we in the kingdom of God, along with the world, really try to validate with these certain standards and milestones in life, which is quite ridiculous, but that's just my 2 cents in that.
Go ahead and drop the jewels out there. That's why we create.
Just gonna do that. And so, we all adults here. Joel tracks me, so he knows when to be nice and sweet and understanding. And because, that sometimes I'm irritable and sometimes I'm not. Just the hormone changes. And so we were looking at our calendars, and, he was like, you know what? I'm not having these symptoms like I would for a cycle, so we might actually be pregnant. And I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to see. So I took a pregnancy test at work, and it was positive. I got on the phone. I was like, because my sister just had a baby. So I was like, is this what your pregnancy test looked like when you took it? And she said, yep. And I was like, well, then here we are. And so it was exciting. I couldn't wait 24 hours to tell him. He's my best friend. So telling him didn't take long. I was like, we're going to go out to eat. And, it was so cute. I wrote on the card some cute little poem, and on the back, his name is Joel. So on the back, I put, "We did it, Joe." Yeah. Okay. We did it. And so, putting the plan in works on, when to schedule and things of that nature. It was well into the next week after that, I started cramping severely. And I'm like, where is this coming from? Is this just because my body is doing something different? I'm a new mother. Just, WebMD is going to make me an expert one way or another. And
we all get trapped with
just
Google and WebMD.
Just spun in a web of that. And it was like, oh, cramps are normal and things of that nature. And, like I was telling you, Nina, on the phone, I was laying on the couch. I did not feel like I can go to sleep. I was just tossing and turning. I was restless. And it was like 4:00 in the morning, and I just woke up, and I'm like, that's blood. I just felt my body do something. And of course, Joelle and I get in the car. We go to the ER. The ER is saying, oh, well, you still are pregnant according to charts and, factual data, but it's too early to determine if you have miscarried. So that happened on a Sunday morning. And then Wednesday, my PCP had kept in contact with me from that Friday all the way up to that Wednesday. And he's like, go to the doctor now because your ACG levels dropped on that Monday in half of what it was on Sunday. And he says, I just need you to be confirmed and have facts. And so, of course, they went in and did the ultrasound. And they're like, well, on Sunday you had a sac, a gestational sac, but no fetal tube because it may have been too early. But now we don't see anything at all. And so, of course, the midwife at the time, because that's who I saw, she says, well, we don't have to worry about surgery or medications because your body is doing what it's supposed to do naturally. And, of course, like reading into that and going into that web because, of course, like your HCG levels, you can tell by how high they are, how far along you are. Yeah. And also, of course, here I am, the lab expert at this point, pulling out the paper, comparing to what the ER said to what, Quest Lab said. And I'm looking and I'm like, well, that's what it looks like on paper. Well, we'll see what God has to say about this. Like we'll just push this off. I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to tense up. I'm not going to cry at this moment. We're just going to find those answers. And it hit me like a ton of bricks in that office, like, this is happening. And knowing as a kingdom woman that at the time of conception, a soul is already approved by God for the body that is to come in, 40 weeks. I was like, well, I don't get to make this one, do I? I don't... all these hopes and dreams because I began to journal and write in notebooks and told very intimate friends and family, like, this is happening. This is so exciting, to celebrate. And it's like, before I can even tell the world that you are here, I have to tell the world where you went, where you went. And so that's the kind of timeline of the loss. And it's like all of these big hopes for the future kind of compacted within 3 weeks, 3 weeks time.
So it's like this expediting kind of the life you didn't get to live. Absolutely. Or the experience you didn't get to have. And unfortunately for us, for women, we start planning the moment that we know. It can be an engagement and then planning for a wedding. It can be like, just get us hyped about something, spark the hope.
Baby,
and,
don't even say I'm thinking about it.
And we lose sight of what God is trying to do in the process, focusing so far ahead in advance of his plans and his will, and even the process that he's using to mature us, even if it doesn't feel good. But, and not to get too preachy, the word says that he's working all things out for our good. And so even in that, in experiencing a loss, you realize that it can still be used for greater good. Absolutely. In and through your life. Let's see what the folks are saying online. Tangela, I see you, sis. Thank you for tuning in. Joelle said, lab expert. Yep, we all become doctors and lab experts with WebMD, Google, YouTube. Don't get me caught up in a video. I want to see everything. Want to see everything. Okay, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Good.
For purposes of the conversation, a miscarriage is defined as an embryo, or when an embryo or fetus dies before the 20th week of pregnancy. It usually happens earlier in pregnancies, and 8 out of 10 miscarriages happen in the first 3 months. As we were discussing stats earlier, and I noted that 1 in 4 pregnancies end in miscarriage. It's again, it's very sobering to know that kind of loss is experienced in such high numbers, and no one prepares you that especially for like your first pregnancy, because your body isn't used to bearing life, or that kind of stress, or the growing pains that come with it, that it is unfortunately like that first pregnancy may end in miscarriage. So in fact, 10 to 20% of pregnancies end in miscarriage. Oh yep, we already talked about that. And though it's common, it can still be emotionally difficult, which is what we are discussing tonight. Definitely. And there can still be feelings of grief and loss some time after. There's no time frame around
when you would heal from something like that.
Thank you guys for showing Zal some love. We appreciate it. And again, just to honor your testimony and your journey, and this is all frequent for you as well.
Oh yes.
So how long ago was your miscarriage?
It was, I'll put it this way, I will say that it was, we'll go with experiencing at the ER September 16th.
Okay.
And then actually having the confirming news. Well, was it 16th? I'm sorry. I'm lying. I would say it was closer to October than it was. So I want to say the 26th. Okay. October 26th. Not October. September 26th.
And I said, okay. Keep up, Nina.
So yeah, it's very recent and very fresh.
Yeah.
And even in that moment, it's like making sure that I'm staying centered in reality versus
going down the path.
Wrapping my head in what could have been and what would have been and why is it not, and how did it happen? Like, was it because I was about to go off on a customer? Is the reason why my baby's not here? Or for me, what triggered me the most was, who did I tell that really didn't desire for me to expand this way that God designed it for me? And I hate to even get that deep so fast.
No, but it's true.
P-R-E-Y.
Yes.
Praying on
Well, it was a false intercession.
Because
not everyone you share good news with. I mean, let's go ahead and crack it open. This is the part that I like. Let's go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. Not everyone is joyful or hopeful or wants to see you succeed. And when people present themselves as something that they aren't, we fall prey to their intentions. But I think even in that, right, once the revelation comes, because God's so good, he'll expose who that was if that was really the case, you know? In a heartbeat, he'll expose that. And you navigate and you discern, right, who to share that type of news with. And not just in birthing a baby, birthing anything, birthing a ministry, getting a new job,
writing a book, whatever.
Whatever it is that you are birthing, being cognizant and aware of who you are sharing that information with, because some people, they are master manipulators, and they excel in the art of sabotage
to the point where they deceive themselves that they
they don't think they're doing anything. Yeah, I can completely understand that.
Yep.
Do we want to take a quick break?
Yeah, we can take a break and come back and dive in some more.
Yeah, this is really good, and I like where you're going with that train of thought. So that's where we're going to pick up at once we get back. You guys are tuned in to the Joule Drop. We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned.
I'm El Renfro Falk, and welcome to Life is Potpourri, the podcast. This podcast is designed to bring awareness to issues we survive and empower our listeners to thrive. No matter what comes our way, we must live, laugh, and love to the fullest. Like the days we encounter, potpourri comes in many colors. But just like life, it's fragrant in the end. Please tune in on Saturdays, and remember, this is the place where we empower survivors.
Drop right here on Power Play Podcast TV. My name is Natural Quiche. I'm here with my co-CEO, my Chief Encouragement Officer, Miss Nina B. Yay.
Happy Friday, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Joule Drop this evening. This is the online radio show dropping jewels for the generations, where we facilitate dialogue to impact, inspire. I'm sorry, I just ran across the studio floor to get back in my seat, so I'm also feeling winded. Where we seek to impact, inspire, connect, and encourage the masses. Catch our live show every second and fourth Friday at 7 p.m. on Facebook Live.
Yes, don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms. We are on Facebook at The Joule Drop, Instagram, The Joule Drop, and you can go to our website, www.thejouledrop.com. That's JOULE.com, where you can submit your topic suggestions, submit any Do It for the Culture mentions that you'd like for us to present, or to purchase your merch that is available for ordering.
Absolutely.
Don't forget, you can call us tonight if you'd like to join into the conversation. We are talking about carrying on after a miscarriage. The number is 972-863-8860.
Absolutely. Make sure you invite someone into the conversation. Again, I'm feeling all the love that is out there for Zal, and thank you.
We love you. I love you. And I say we love you on behalf of my husband. Thank you.
Who is active in the chat tonight. So make sure you guys give a shout out to Joelle.
That's a good man, Savannah.
And I'll go ahead and also give you your flowers while everyone is watching. While we were on break, I did commend Zal for coming forth so soon after experiencing her miscarriage to have this conversation with us. It is definitely commendable. I personally, I don't think I may have had a good 30 days of crying. And grief after my miscarriage that a lot of people don't know that I had. And what was surprising to me was that I experienced the grief that I had so fast. And I was a little further along than you were. I was at the 11-week mark. Started with the bleeding as you did. Called the doctor. That's normal.
Yeah.
If you don't pass clots, that's fine. And it went from, it started early in the day. By noon, it was a clot. And I was at the ER. And by 9, no, it wasn't 9. It was maybe 6 or 7. They told me,
yeah,
you lost the baby. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I lost the baby. Like, I was fine.
Hey, Spider, do we have any Kleenex? Just in case? Okay.
I was going to say, you finna go?
No.
It was, I was like, okay, well, I lost the baby. I'm going to get up. I'm going to go to work. And then everything happened. And after it was all over, about 2 days later, just hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, baby, wait. This was not the part that I was
prepared for.
Like, all the... I was like, oh, man, I really wanted my baby. And, yeah, so... Hats off. I don't think I could have had that conversation publicly.
And anyone who, if you want to call in and just give some love or words of encouragement, you're welcome to do that. You don't have to call in and have like some deep revelation or testimony that you want to share. Even if it's just to show love tonight, 972-863-8860. So, Nikisha, I know that it is your first time. I can't believe I called you by your whole name.
It's Ibo.
I really try to remember the aliases, but it's hard because
it's okay.
we do so much together at this point. But that is your first time sharing your testimony about your experience.
Yes.
Publicly with the audience. So even if it was a few years ago, hats off to you. That is a very befitting, I believe, quote.
I think so too.
Heaven and earth may separate us today, but nothing will ever change the fact that you made me a mom. Wow. And I don't mean wow to be condescending, but yes, nothing changes the fact that you are a mom.
Yeah, and it happened.
And it's a real experience. It's a real human experience. Since we're all sharing, I know that I don't know if I've ever shared this, but I've had two.
No, you haven't. Here.
Okay. I've had two miscarriages. So one before my daughter was born. A lot of you guys know she's in high school now, so that would have been about 18 years ago. And I recovered very fast from that. I didn't even realize I was pregnant. And as fast as I was like learning I was pregnant, I was also learning that I was having a miscarriage. And we conceived again shortly thereafter. It wasn't planned. I knew that I desired to have a child. Well, so initially, and you guys have heard me say this, I did not want children. I never thought I would have children. But shortly after that miscarriage, my daughter was conceived. And then a few years after her, I had a miscarriage. In between all of that, I also had an abortion. So it's weird because that last miscarriage, I was on birth control. I had a Mirena IUD. Mm-hmm. So I was like that 1% that don't get, like that could possibly get pregnant. Yeah. And in my mind, I was thinking, oh, this is truly a miracle. Like this baby is coming to be here. Supposed to be here if you can get through the IUD. And that wasn't the case. It was actually a very long, drawn out miscarriage because they didn't do like the DNC or any of that. So while the first one I processed through very quickly, and most of the time it doesn't even feel like relevant to my journey, the second one almost took me out, like trying to recover and cope. And unfortunately at the time I was with a partner who wasn't supportive, and wasn't available emotionally, wasn't present, wasn't there. And that took a completely different emotional and mental, even spiritual toll on me, because after that, I thought God was punishing me for deciding to have an abortion earlier and making me hold to my word that I didn't want to have any other children. And I really started to feel like I could not bear life in any capacity. So not just barren from a physical perspective, but barren from a spiritual perspective as well, unable to assure or facilitate anything into the earth that could thrive. And no one really talks about that part, how you feel like you know
you're rejected, cast out.
And just how truly I keep going back to barren. It's like this very void feeling that you have on the inside of you. So that was a precursor to my suicide attempt, because truly at that point I felt like there was nothing
nothing worth living for.
Right, sorry.
There's no need to apologize. Tears are healing.
Yeah,
they really are.
So I've absolutely been there. We've all been there.
Get your tissue, boo.
I'm trying to be a big girl, Nikisha.
Listen,
don't call me out like that. I think that's Shamira. Shamira.
Yeah, that's Shamira.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you
She
for
said hats
tuning
off.
in. Yeah,
Yeah.
she said hats off. Honesty
you, Honesty.
said flowers to all three of you. Thank you, Honesty. Thank you, Joelle. He said you all are very powerful women. Thank you. Thank you. So having dealt with depression,
Yeah.
did you find yourself going back into a slump? Could have been during or after that process.
Absolutely. So, there's a lot of things hitting me at once. Like God is just dropping things off. So it's like, do I park that right there? So
I get a lot of downloads too. So
yes.
yeah.
Let 'em use
Yes.
So like depression is the baby of expectation. So it's the child of expectation that have gone wrong or against what you think that you deserve or you think that you should have versus having peace and knowing that God has your back. So there's the difference. And for me is that when you are not healing and you're bleeding, are you not going to make yourself aware of what hurts so you can heal, or are you just going to refuse? So being in and out of depression and isolation, and I'm not worthy of being a friend or having a group of friends like I see you on TV or what I expect I should have because I'm an awesome person, to saying that this is just not the season. Just being aware of what's happening from 20 feet up instead of right here in my face. Because if I stay here right in my face, I'm just looking at myself instead of looking from the eyes of God. And so I have been feeling up and down in roller coasters. I have moments of depression or moments, I would say, of emotional breakdown where like I cannot hold it together. That Sunday I was at the ER. Monday I went to work. I only was there for an hour. I was like, I gotta go home. I can't do this. I'm in the middle of a miscarriage, or what they say, I'm in the middle of a miscarriage. I need to go home. And being aware of knowing that I don't have to be strong in that moment, that really truly God is stronger when I am weak. So it's like, I'm going to sit this out and cry over here and sleep over here and rest over here as you build me on the inside to be fortified, to be stronger. And so there are moments and knowing that I can fall into depression because of my expectations of what I think I should have or anything of that nature. I also know my triggers.
Yeah.
And so being intentional with making sure I'm not talking to someone who would aid me in feeling miserable, but talking to people who will lift me up.
Absolutely.
And making sure that I hold myself accountable by picking up the phone and calling somebody that would pray for me instead of pray on me, like, as you mentioned.
Oh, we got a caller.
The phone is ringing.
Good evening. This is the Joule Drop. Who are we speaking with?
Hi, this is Kiki.
Hi, Kiki.
Hi.
So I heard your question, and I wanted to answer. I know it's a bit of a serious topic, but I kind of wanted to answer on a higher note. If that's okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I do know someone that has experienced a miscarriage. I won't say her name, but what I will say, and I'll say it because it was kind of a public thing, it's just something that we weren't expecting. She had two actually, and I want to say one was like a stillbirth.
Okay.
And I'm sorry for any woman that's ever experienced this, or anybody that's experienced this before. It was a tough time. It was really hard, and I can't imagine what she went through. I can't imagine what she went through. But what I will say is there's still hope. She had two, but she had a healthy baby boy and a healthy baby girl, so she had a rainbow baby. So
Yes.
we prayed and prayed and prayed, and I like to thank God because honestly, the woman that I'm talking about doesn't have any dimples. I have two dimples. I prayed every night for her to have a healthy baby and a safe delivery. When her baby came out, her baby had not one, but two dimples. So to me, that was God, like, letting us know that He heard us.
Yeah.
You know, that was our miracle baby. And then she had another baby girl after 2 stillbirths. So I don't know if anybody has gone through or is going through, but it is possible to have a baby. So just keep the faith, keep having faith, and believe what you don't see. You know.
Yes.
Thank you, Kiki. That is uplifting. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Have a
welcome.
good night.
You too.
too.
Have a good night. Bye.
I like to speak to what she was speaking on about stillbirths. Like, I do work with someone and that did have a stillborn, and to see where she is now, I couldn't imagine where she was when it did happen.
Yeah.
And when I had my miscarriage, I think a couple of days after, I kind of got on my Facebook story and I was like, look, this is what happened to me, and kind of like processed my thoughts and been vocal in putting names to my thoughts and sounds to my thoughts and making sure that I didn't miss the moving target of what it was. And, you know, she pulled me to the side and said, you know, everything that you were thinking, I thought, you know. And then not only that, but hearing so much of the feedback this way, I'm like, oh, you had a you know, and it's like, we are just, Black women are just so stigmatized of like, we deserve to have the miscarriage and we just gonna power through it because we're powerful women.
Yeah, we don't believe in the strong Black woman theory.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't want to be strong.
No. And us being strong really takes the focus off of God and how strong He is. And if our lives are to reflect His power and glory, then we have to let it truly reflect His power and glory. And sometimes that means that we experience the gut-wrenching losses and we process through grief and pain. And grief and pain that's exactly what Christ experienced.
Yes.
All of that. So when we're having those moments, we're having, you know, those same emotions and feelings that align with the feelings that our Savior felt at one point. Were you going to say something, Keisha? Okay. I thought I heard you like take a breath to speak. All right. I don't want to hog
I'm right here.
all of the time.
Yep, right here.
So yeah, I like what she said. Keep the faith and pray. And sometimes you come to the realization that may not be what God wants for you. And I'm not saying that's for anyone
negatively.
Yeah, negatively. But I do believe not all is lost when you encounter those circumstances, when you do lose a child, whether it be a miscarriage or stillbirth. We were talking just before the show, and I shared I'm a rainbow baby. My mother had a miscarriage before me, and she had 2 healthy baby girls, but we also were aware that she never carried full term. So I was 4 pounds and 5 ounces, and I came really early and kind of been just charting my own path ever since I came into the earth. But then I did carry my daughter full term and almost over, because they were going to take her if she didn't come. And she was healthy. So I do believe that it can and will happen for those who desire to have children. But again, to what you were saying about managing expectations, that hope deferred is crushing.
Oh, yes, but absolutely.
It is like, let's put the cards on the table for a second, that it can be traumatizing, and it really takes you to a place of raw vulnerability.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but I am hopeful. I remain hopeful that those in my circle who desire children, more children, that they will have them, that we are not a barren people. We are not desolate. We are not vacant. We are not devoid of life. And that...
And all that energy.
Yes.
To the wombs.
Correct.
Yes.
Because you...
Listen, bring them up.
Yes.
Bring forth them.
Nikisha's just a godmama now, y'all. She's not having any more naturals, okay?
Bring them on over.
So, yes, and she
baby, because I got a ball of fire. My rainbow baby is a ball of fire, okay?
So we were talking about depression and the feelings that you experience, and Honesty mentioned something earlier in the chat that there should be something in place to help women cope with experiencing a miscarriage. The second miscarriage I had, the doctor he did not have good bedside manner. His nurses didn't have good bedside manner. They like called me on the phone and were like, it's not a viable pregnancy and it'll pass. And that was it. So I had to find another doctor who would actually like
Process with you.
yeah, like do a complete exam, and then walk me through like what to expect next, because the miscarriage, it actually happening, I was still pregnant for 4 to 5 weeks after I found out that the pregnancy wasn't viable. And they let it pass on its own.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like waiting for my body to eject it.
Yeah, that's
And it was a long drawn out process. And then when it happened, I was like breaking down, crying like in the hallway.
like it happened. Like
yeah. And I had shared with some people that I was expecting, and then when they came back, and they were like, "Oh, so do you know what it is?" And they're asking probing questions. Like, well, it's not anything anymore. And that was just me, of course, brushing it to the side because I kind of want to move past it because I'm still waiting for the miscarriage to actually occur.
Right.
they were asking prior to the physical.
Yeah, prior to the physical process taking place. So it's like trying to brace yourself for impact, and I still didn't do a very good job.
Yeah, and see, unlike you, I personally think that between my last ultrasound or shortly after my last ultrasound is when I lost the baby, because it was like I had an ultrasound at 9 weeks. Everything was good. We are at 11.
And you were about to be right out of that first trimester.
Right.
And was already showing. Like I already had the little bump,
thing.
and one of my coworkers,
I wasn't showing. I was just
one of the coworkers, he had just asked my friend, "Your friend pregnant, ain't it?" I told her that day, like not that day, but the day I had the miscarriage. I told her, and then I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have to rescind that news."
yeah.
And she was like, "What?" Yeah.
It's tough to relive it,
Oh, absolutely.
and then relive it. And if you told 20 people, you got to say 20 times that it's not coming into
copy paste
fruition.
Yeah.
So, and I think one of the things that happened from that miscarriage is when you have another pregnancy, you delay
Telling anyone.
news.
Yeah.
So you just keep it. You be like, "Oh, I'm so excited," but
I'm gonna have to hold on. I'm gonna have to hold on.
and another thing that I didn't anticipate experiencing was a lot of anxiety around the week that I had the miscarriage. So it was like, so yeah, we're at week 11, and when we were at week 11 the last time, it didn't go well. So can we just do a check?
Yeah, can we?
So my doctor was really nice about, she was like, okay, well, just to soothe your mind, we'll do another one. But yeah, the second go round, you're not going to tell everybody like you did. It's probably going to stay a little closer.
Right.
And then you may be a little apprehensive around that window of time. But those rainbow babies are fun.
Yeah. Joelle said that's horrible to experience. Some people just should not insert action here. Yeah. After that, it taught me to make sure my healthcare team was A1. So it wasn't just, finding a OBGYN who operated with integrity, but then my PCP was fire. I hate he retired. Dr. Kewen, what's up? He was phenomenal at guiding and ushering me through the process. And then, of course, from the mental health perspective, all of my doctors were in contact with one another and really created this network around me. So there wasn't one thing one physician was doing that another physician didn't know, and who was prescribing what.
Come on, dream
bomb team.
Yes, that really happened. And Nikisha's saying it now because she knows how they operate around me.
Well, they still operate,
and
even with the new
PCP.
Yeah,
the new PCP.
They just jumped him in.
Yeah, and she is an African American woman, and my OB-GYN is also an African American woman as well.
And they don't play.
And they do not play. And my other doctor is also a woman of color. So yeah, they all, the way they network and navigate healthcare plans and share information is a solid team. It took years to get there, and part of it was just not knowing. Right, when you're young, you feel more resilient. And you're like, I can do this, but my almost 40 body, y'all, is not set up the same way. So had to make sure I started putting everything in place well before then. So we were talking about grief or processing depression. I'm trying to lead us, Nikisha, into the 5 stages of grief. Okay, probably.
Yeah, we're
struggling a little bit. If
Nope.
you're just tuning in, we said earlier as the show was starting, it was a tough week. So we've been processing
baby,
through and pressing through. So we appreciate y'all for hanging out. Mom,
Yes.
thank you for tuning in. My mom is on, y'all.
Hey, Mom.
Yes. Honesty said, I remember requesting a new doctor when a doctor made me cry, telling me my weight was associated with my baby's weak heart and how I could have a stillborn birth. I am so sorry. Yeah, I am sorry that you experienced that. She said they refused to let my husband in. He came in anyway. She rephrased her statement to him that it wasn't my fault, but she wrote in my chart that I had depression because she made me cry. Somehow that equates to I was depressed. Wow. Talk about gaslighting.
Baby, how about, where's the review? 0 stars.
Not just a review, but report to the medical board. That's something that we don't do, like, in our community.
We don't speak to the manager.
We do not speak to the manager enough. Like,
Be like, girl, who is the manager?
I want to escalate on GP, and I do not want to talk to you anymore.
Ma'am, this is my practice.
And I'm writing to the... Who are the people that the governing body of medical professionals? Yeah, malpractice, all of that.
I know you got their number.
Yeah.
Hand it over.
It's on speed dial.
Yeah.
It's on your license.
Don't worry.
Let me see it.
The way I've learned to work Google and WebMD, I'm going to get the number. I'm going to find that out.
We're going to find it out.
I was looking on a story, and it was very interesting, and I kind of kept that close to me, is that especially for us Black women, if our doctors refuse to do any lab work, any testing, and, you know, you feel something not right, ask them to record in their chart their refusal to move forward with what you have requested.
Ooh.
And then they may have a second opinion.
Baby,
They may
put
have
the pen to the paper.
Yeah, tell them that, you know, okay, well, you don't want to do that for me. Record it in your chart that you did not want to seek this out for me, run this test for me, you know, things of that nature. So,
Listen, I live a life full of soundtracks, and all I could think about was put it on paper.
put it on paper.
Yes, okay, listen. Got to put that on paper.
Documentation.
Yeah, so what we have been discussing basically is one of the stages of grief that you experience quite heavily after your miscarriage.
Right.
Do you feel that you may have fallen into any of the other stages of grief?
Absolutely.
We know that in most cases denial comes first. I feel like any one of those stages could occur at any time.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
But they tend to give them to you in an order of denial, anger, bargaining, depression, then acceptance. And I feel like sometimes it takes us more time to get to acceptance than it does
Right.
to transition from any other different phases. Did you experience any of those other stages?
Oh, absolutely. I was angry. I was really, really angry, and this is actually my first time actually voicing why, because at any given moment, if I hear like the enemy coming up against me, I'm praying, right? Or I'm doing it so hard for somebody else. But when it hit home, close to home, like this is my home girl who wasn't really rooting for me, and I never said I reject that in the name of Jesus Christ, towards her, or any type of, not towards her, but towards the words before they caught manifestation in the air. Like being angry at that, like, why did I let my guard down in this vulnerable place of being celebrated to have somebody rain on me, and I don't step up to defend it? Like, where's my weapons? And where's my weapons to destroy whoever has a hidden agenda against what is building in my body? Because faith is the things that are hoped for and evidence of things that we have not seen. So is pregnancy. That's a seed that's in there. A mustard seed, literally a mustard seed that is in there, that is growing. And I have expectation. I have hope for this thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, did I not put me and my body and my child first in that moment? So it's like, I'm angry at myself for not bringing righteous action against it. Very upsetting.
Did you also find yourself being angry at God for allowing it to happen?
I wasn't personally angry at God. I was more so, well, no, I can't say that. I was angry, and angry to a place of, God, you have told me, you have shown me my children and what they would be and how they would be, and all of the amazing things that, like, this child was anointed and protected. Why didn't you allow your protection, your blood to cover my womb in that moment of uncertainty, and being at peace that God knew that my child was too good to be on this earth. Like, and so I had to face it off with the counteraction of God being sovereign over my body, God being sovereign over ushering heaven into earth in my womb. So yes, like, and others that have called me said they were angry with God, like they had to repent, and like, because God, you I prayed for this child and I declare blessings for this child, and then she calls me, and so she, bless her heart, she called me and she's like, well, what the doctor say? Oh, well, no, God showed me this, and we take the sovereignty of God, especially in the realm of pregnancy, but we also have to humble ourselves and sober ourselves and take the sovereignty of God when that expectation is not matching what his will is.
Well, and it's not matching his will in that particular time.
Exactly.
Because he doesn't say that it's never going to happen, right? We just don't know when it's going to manifest itself in our lives. And I can understand the being angry with God. I think my anger was more so, I have prayed for other women to have children. And one young lady I prayed for ended up having triplets.
Oh my goodness.
It's like a triple blessing. And I'm not saying it was just my prayers, but the prayers of everyone for her help, her fertility journey and conceiving. And I was like, I have literally fasted, prayed for other women to have, life-bearing pregnancies, that their deliveries are covered. And it was more of it was my pride that got in the way, because I was like, how do you make me a liar to what you said you would do for me, but you can do it for everyone else? So I started to feel false. I was like, maybe I'm not a believer. And that's a tactic that the enemy uses as well, where you're like, well, maybe I'm not deserving and I'm not really a daughter, and I'm never gonna, you know, bear life. So, and we do have to repent, but wrestling with not just his will, but the timing of it,
absolutely,
is heavy for us on the journey. Do we want to take a quick break? No, you good?
Things that might not be helpful.
This is good.
This is the one I was looking at. When we were putting the deck together.
Oh, is that during grief? Oh, that's during the miscarriage.
Yeah.
He done took us to our closing slide.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. There's some more actions on the closing slide.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Okay, so things that may not be helpful. Everything happens for a reason. At least you know you can get pregnant. It just wasn't meant to be. You just have to move on. It's not like you picked the name out. I did.
And did.
It's so common.
Yeah. Things that might be more helpful. I am so sorry. I am here for you. I love you. It's okay not to feel okay. Your grief is valid. How can I support you? There is no timeline to grief. Yes.
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 And if anyone is making statements to you on the left-hand side, let me just be clear, that is not a friend, and you can go ahead and just cut them off. And I get it. Sometimes people get tired of reliving difficult processes with people. Mm-hmm. And you're like, how long is this person going to be here? But love makes you overlook that part, how uncomfortable.
Love makes you patient, long
yeah,
suffering.
makes you patient, and you lean into that process for them. It makes you submit with them in that process, because in all of that, God's grooming something out of the people around you too. You know, he's not just grooming the person who it happened to. It's happened to all of us. Mm-hmm. And we tend to isolate or silo ourselves from an experience that's happening, but
and in siloing yourself, right, you close yourself off to helping other people. And I say that because I didn't tell, like, only a select few people knew I was pregnant, and a select few people knew that I had a miscarriage. And most of the people didn't find out that the rainbow baby was on the way till I was like 6 months pregnant. Because ironically, I started showing at 11 weeks with that one and was barely showing at 5 months with my youngest.
Yeah.
But I say that to say, because nobody knew, I have a friend, my college roommate, who had a miscarriage. And she was like, I had a miscarriage and I didn't tell anybody and I didn't know. And I was like, I did too. And she was like, you had a miscarriage? I wish I would have known. I would have had somebody to talk to. I was like, yeah, I was there.
Right.
And, you know, I yielded myself the opportunity. Like, I lost the opportunity to support my friend when she went through something as traumatic as a loss. I don't care how close or how far along you are. I honestly think the further along is probably...
It's got to be more difficult, I'm sure, to unpack that. If we feel how we feel in, let's say, the first trimester,
right?
Imagine what a woman feels like being forced to carry until birth.
And have to deliver.
Right.
And now they make you stay. They keep the baby in the room with the mom, like, overnight.
I've seen.
It's supposed to assist with the grief process, but I've seen some women take very dark turns from that experience. How do you force that on someone, and then you're not surrounding them with the appropriate support system? Like, you're just forcing them. Everything is jacked up.
Immediately. Just going.
Yes.
You look like this.
And I know personally of two people who had a baby shower, and shortly after the baby shower, they had a baby who they couldn't take home. You know. And one of those friends was actually a male friend of mine, and it happened to his daughter. It was too much for me, and I didn't even carry the baby. Like, I was like, I can't.
Well, and that's the other thing is happening to all of us. Is not yes, one person has to physically live it out, but babies bring so much joy and reconciliation,
newness
to families.
Yeah.
It's
Come on, reconciliation.
Yeah, it's refreshing. And I know a lot of families that have healed
because
once
the baby came
new
into-
life came
Yes.
into the picture. And what is it?
I'm laughing at you and your mom in these comments.
Oh, yeah, that's my mama, y'all. I am the rainbow baby, but she said she was told it wasn't meant to be.
Yes. And her response was, but you had me, boo. And I'm here with this fire.
Yeah. Hey, Jennifer, thank you for tuning in. Mom said 2 years later, I had Nina at 7 months, almost 2 years, and 1 day apart, July 15 and July 16. So the baby before me was on July 15th. My birthday is on July 16th.
Oh, okay.
So she said, so I know I was chosen to be a mom. Yes, you were, and you're a good mommy.
Yay.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We will be right back. You are watching the Joule Drop. Stay tuned.
Life and love, no in between. Positive about everything. Growing and we're growing. Praying, just keep going, going. Joule drop, Joule drop, Joule drop, Joule drop.
The Joule Drop.
Right here on Power of Play Podcast TV. I am Natural Keish. I'm here with my co-CEO, my Chief Encouragement Officer, Miss Nina B. We have Miss Zal V with us, and she's sharing her experience with us. We have
Spider.
our producer.
Y'all, if you've never seen Spider, he is coming in from behind the window for tonight's show. Before we get into it, this is the online radio show dropping jewels for the generations, where we facilitate dialogue to impact, inspire, connect, and encourage the masses. You can catch our live show every second and fourth Friday at 7 p.m. Central on Facebook Live. Tonight, we are talking about carrying on after the miscarriage.
Yes.
Spider, you wanted to chime in on this one.
Well, I just sitting back there, and from the man perspective, we talk about everything, us three. A lot of times, y'all don't know what's going on. We talk after show, 2 and 3 hours after show over, and it hit me because it happened to me. I was dating a young lady, and we had broke up, and she was pregnant. I was dating another young lady. I got a phone call like 2 in the morning, and her sister said, you need to be at Charlton Methodist Hospital. And she said she in labor, but it ain't looking good. So the one that got me, that broke me down, is that I didn't want to go. But the girl that I was dating, she already got kids. She said, you got to go. She said, put your clothes on. We going over there. So we go over there to the Methodist, and charging, and had the baby in the bed.
In the room.
In the room. And what's so crazy is that it's like it was blood just steady moving. And I just couldn't take it. And from the man perspective, I had never felt stuff just go through me. And I just stayed sick. But I was sick also for guilt. because I wasn't there. We had broke up, but I wasn't there. And it wasn't a bad relationship. It just, I was immature. I got her pregnant. I had a pretty girl, a trophy girl, but then here it is. I had a responsibility. And I heard you talking about stress. And sometimes we men, we just don't know what y'all body go through. Stressful. But the hurting part, she used to work with my mom. And for years. And when she worked with my mom, I go see my mom. I had to walk with my head down. Because I was a part of her not giving life and having life. Wow. And I just back there listening, and this happened over 30 years ago. Wow. But no matter how long it happened, I got that feeling y'all talking about it. It's going through me. And I say, as a man, y'all know we talk. I'm transparent. I'm on the back end. I ain't writing no book. I ain't nothing to hide. So I just hope this can help some men who can talk about it. You know what the crazy part? I text 5 guys and asked them, have they ever had this happen, and nobody respond back.
Wow.
And we have to talk about it.
Right.
We have to.
Because y'all didn't do it by yourself.
What you said.
Thank you for sharing that from your perspective, because we talked about that just before the show. No one really chimes into what the men experience. And surprisingly, sometimes the guys jump on, and Joel's the only guy in the chat room. Spider, thank you for letting us know and just sharing that with us. And we do share a lot. We talk frequently after the show, and I don't think between the three of us anyone has really known about what the other person experienced except for the two of us. Wow,
child, because if we get into the whole miscarriage and how my body reacted to it, that's a whole another. No, baby, I was blacking out. Wow. My whole I got up.
Hold on. It is not funny. I'm gonna let her tell it. But
she always say,
you know how when the Lord be like,
no,
don't do it. Flag on the play. Don't go that way. And then you still go back and do it after that experience. Sis, you is bold. You is bold.
Wait, struck you down was a thing.
Baby, listen. I left the hospital. They said I was gonna have a miscarriage. You gonna pass the baby? Okay, cool. I'm going to work tomorrow. That was the plan.
Because I was
going to work.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
I passed the baby before I got home. And I woke up to use the bathroom. Blacked out. Hit the floor so hard. All this right here was tore up.
Wow.
I got up, made it back to the bed. My daughter at the time was 4. She got up. I was like, unlock the door. So I called the paramedics because I was just like, baby, I don't know what's going on. She went back to sleep. So she slept through the whole thing. Called my mom. They came over. I was standing up. And my mom was like, baby, it happened so fast. I was standing up. She turned her head, hit the wall. Again. Bam. Tore my whole eye up. The next morning I woke up, I looked like I had been in a fight. My lip was swollen. My eye was
perfect. Yeah.
Hit up from blacking out when the paramedics came. They was like, well, it ain't nothing we can do. It's just going to happen. I was like, well, okay. Well, I guess I ain't going to work tomorrow. First of all, I can't go to work tomorrow because I look like I'd have been in a Holyfield fight. Right. And I don't
you
know.
were with the Holy Spirit.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm a black out.
Girl, sit down.
Baby.
Oh, Joel corrected me. I'm sorry. There is another gentleman in the chat room. I apologize.
Hi.
Thank you for joining. Is it Toussaint?
Yeah, that's my brother. Hey,
okay. Yeah, he's out there. Okay. I didn't want to butcher the name. So, yeah. Hey, Jennifer, thank you for tuning in.
That was a whole experience.
Honesty, she is
my road dog.
Yeah, she is very strong. I just don't know if after that experience I would have actually conceived again after that. Like at some point I would be like, I caught the lesson the first time, I'm good. And now you got this ball of fire you can't contain. And Lord was trying to warn.
Look, that is another show, right? When you pray, like when you get the babies you pray for, or after having multiple miscarriages,
yes,
you have these babies and they turn out to be balls of fire, and you
wait,
like,
what am I supposed to do with
well,
this?
you get this feeling like you don't want to complain because
yes,
I wanted this child. Like this is somebody I wanted, but this somebody that I wanted is breaking me off.
Yeah,
a minute at a time.
Yeah.
So yes, and a lot of women do experience that. Again, that is another topic for another show. Listen, coming out of mommy guilt, like having guilt, for feeling tired, exhausted, overwhelmed regarding raising your children, and these are the children that you prayed for. These are the children that you IVF'd for. These are the children that, you know, after it was 15 rainbows before this one. You know, you give me this. I sound like I'm about to cry.
Yeah.
Oh. You know, I'm just ain't gonna do that.
Well, I don't know, because you're getting real close.
My eye looking like it's swelling.
Yeah.
Listen, my body is responding, and my
so it's just
brain turned off.
We talk about it all the time. I'm a G. Be like, girl, I ain't crying. I'm a G. Wait, my G said.
I am emotional, and I am surrounded by a lot of G's that just like their let's say their sensitivity level, that I'm sure that they feel, but they definitely hold back,
don't react,
expressing it. You're like, y'all are some emotionally constipated individuals. I need somebody to start crying, and I need some walls to start coming down. Like do something, because these emotional gangsters around here. I'd be like, so
I'm gonna say this, and
I'm gonna say it, and then you do what you want with it. Process that, however. But yeah, she's a emotional G. She ain't gonna break down on camera.
Baby, if I do,
it's been a rough day.
Listen,
I will say, speaking to the male perspective, and I know he's not in the room, and I think he did that on purpose, but Joelle has been very tenderhearted and kind, and has been exactly who my soul has loved and who has loved me. And him being open, saying, because I don't know, he don't mind me saying this, well, if you don't, I'll repent when I get in the car. We had this argument and we're fussing, and I'm like, look, don't you know I just lost the baby? Like, I don't feel like we need to be trying to call me to the carpet on some things right now. Like, let me just chill out here in the bathtub, like, let me just, digress, because I feel like I've given, and serving. Now it's just the opportunity where I need to be served back. And he opened his mouth and he said, I'm hurt too. And it has been my every intention in this process to never shut that man out, to never back him into a corner and guilt him, or make him angry or provoke him just so I feel some kind of selfish relief, some kind of false comfort, because that's not godlike at all. And be intentional in making sure that I'm still looking out for him just as much as he's looking out for me. And so with that, in this process, I honor you. I'm so glad that you're my husband, and
get a man his flowers on the
God
earth.
has proven himself real, more so in this experience because of the people who surround me. Yeah.
And I feel like a blessing isn't enough. to acknowledge when you experience the love of God through people. And you're like, okay, this is what godly love feels like, and it's not far removed, because we feel like, or I don't feel this way. I think kingdom-minded individuals don't feel this way, but religion would have people think that you have to pass over to experience the goodness and mercy and love of God, when that's not how it is at all. You can experience it right now while you are here walking this earth, because we were here, or put here, to be his hands and feet in the earth.
Absolutely.
It's not just a wait and see how it turns out. It's active faith working and executing on behalf of his will, his agenda, and advancing the kingdom of God. So amen for your testimony and your union. And Joelle said, my eyes are sweating. We got you, bruh. We got you.
Somebody get the man some tissue in the lobby.
Absolutely beautiful. I see India out there. Hey, India, love you. Thank you for tuning in. So we are going to, I feel like I went through both of those at home by myself.
Oh, that's when they had miscarriage. Oh, so Michelle and
Barack had a miscarriage, and
who was that?
Priyanka.
Jonas.
And
is it Nick Jonas?
Nick Jonas.
Okay.
Oh, one of Jonas.
One of them.
Portia. Yeah. And then you talk about other ways that you can become a mom. So we know a lot of women have used surrogates.
Yeah.
I think Gabrielle Union has the...
Her testimony is...
quite impactful.
Yeah, very impactful. We didn't talk about it or get into it, but the whole shaming women who can't have children of their own physically, that's gotta stop. That
mind your own uterus. How about that?
Yes, if you have one.
And guess what? I ain't got none, so it ain't no. But as many as you want.
Yes.
I'm gonna pray that you have all that you want, cause I got what I wanted.
There's so many ways that the Lord can fulfill something. We get caught up in being very one-dimensional. I say this all the time, where we think he only functions in one way. He can only get something accomplished in one way, and he's a very multifaceted God. He can do it in every different type of way to bring that word into fruition. I mean, he's God. He's not going to lie. If he gave you a vision for something, it's going to happen. It may not happen the way we think it should happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Words, no matter how kind, can't mend your heartache. However, those who care for you wish you comfort and peace of mind. May hope sustain you, friends surround you, and love give you strength.
Yes.
Yes.
And love bears all things, let me tell you. All right. Do we want to get into Do It for the Culture?
Sure.
All right. So quick intermission here, but this is the part of the show. Well, this is Keisha and Spider's favorite segment of the show. This is where we acknowledge not just celebrities, but grassroots initiatives of positive things that are happening in the community. So it does give us a break from the really, really heavy conversation, but we definitely believe that there should be more of showcasing the good that is happening in our community. Spider, I got me two that I can actually pronounce this week.
Hold up. We were planning, and she was like, who to do it for the culture? And she said, hold on, wait. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not doing this one.
Not doing this one.
I said, friend, I had you in mind when I put them in order, because I knew that you weren't going to do that one. So without further ado.
Not going to set me up, friend.
Let's jump into Do It for the Culture. Our first Do It for the Culture mention is Little Miss Kendall Ray Johnson. Kendall Ray Johnson is a 6-year-old thriving little princess who has become Georgia's youngest certified farmer.
That's remarkable.
And she is the first Black woman
in Georgia
to
be certified as a farmer.
I
Yeah.
shall say, you
Yes.
better go on, Kendall.
When I see things like this, it really inspires hope for the next generation for me. Because sometimes I look at them doing things like crate challenges.
The devious lick challenge.
You know, crate challenges and eating Tide Pod.
Yeah.
And I'm just like
All the riff-raff.
not sure if we failed you guys or not. So this is just very uplifting that we planted some positivity and common sense into the next generation.
I'm like, but you know, it also, as a parent, makes you think, okay, what do I need to be doing as a parent to make sure I am affording my kids those type of opportunities where they could thrive and be farmers? 'Cause
Yes.
this one ain't going out those.
Well, not necessarily thrive and be farmers. I think that our kids' passions find them. Like, I don't enjoy cooking, but Darian's a phenomenal cook, and she loves cooking, and that's how she de-stresses. And everything about the kitchen for me is like, I am the taste tester, and I just want the food to be good and hot when it arrives, and fulfilling. But I do not want to have to prepare it because I don't enjoy cooking. And I know that was very difficult because my family is from the deep South, and you trying to raise a girl in the deep South, and the one thing they teach you to do is cook, clean up, and take care of your husband. In my mind, I was just like, he gonna have to be catered to a different way because that's not something I'm interested in doing.
Not her ministry.
I don't enjoy it. It's not that I can't, but I definitely don't like. I don't get in like, oh, let me whip.
Now I gotta wait on it. Right.
Nah.
Baby, now I likes to cook, but the deterrent is cleaning the kitchen.
No, I'll clean up.
Shout out to Joelle Harris.
All right, we going to the next one?
Yep, we can move to the next one. The next Do It for the Culture is Natalie King, Esquire. She is the founder and chief executive officer of Dunamis Clean Energy. So she is the world's first Black woman-owned EV recharging station. Okay, so I did a little more digging on her story, and she said that a nap led her to the vision for the...
because she went to church.
She went to church. She wanted to take a nap, and she said during the nap, she had a vision, and when she woke up, like, the Lord told her everything she needed to do to spearhead and get it going.
Because I think, what was her profession prior to jumping into energy? Was she like an attorney?
She was an attorney.
Yeah,
Yep.
attorney. Yeah.
Like, baby.
Wow.
Yes.
But that goes to show also that you could choose a way of life and your purpose could be in a totally different industry in which you were trained. So.
Well, and I also think it goes to show we feel like we should be doing more, and sometimes you just need some rest. Sometimes you need to just take a nap.
So you can get that
And let the Lord
download.
talk to
And
you.
get the download.
Maybe God is trying to tell you something.
Right.
Gosh, trying to-
Instead of like trying to execute the to-do list, go ahead and get that nap in. Get that rest.
Yes. All right. Our next Do It for the Culture mention is Mr. Abdul Razak Gurnah. Hey.
Good job.
Got a thumbs up. He is a 2021 Nobel Peace Prize winner in literature. He gets his Do It for the Culture mention because he is the first man of color, first Black man to receive this Nobel Peace Prize in 28 years.
Wow.
Congratulations. That's quite an accomplishment.
Yes. Absolutely love
Like
it.
seeing the mixture too. We have entrepreneurs, farmers, scholars,
Yes.
all of it.
Yes.
All right, and our last Do It for the Culture is actually not a person, but more of an entity, and that would be Broadway. and we are referring to the famous theater in New York. This 2021 fall season is filled with works by Black playwrights as a part of their long-term initiative to continue to tell Black stories. Now, what I couldn't confirm is whether or not every show, every offering is produced by or presented by a Black playwright. Okay, so it is every one of them.
100% this season, everybody's Black.
Everybody's Black.
Yes.
Okay. So shout out to Broadway for continuing to
embrace us in the theater arts.
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of the plays for this season, it'll be the first time many of those playwrights have had their show on Broadway.
Oh, well, that's
yeah.
cool.
So they're getting a lot of firsts in as well. So
that's amazing.
So you're opening up the doors for opportunity for people to tell their story. They're giving us, and this is the platform where some of our biggest actors and actresses come from. So yes, the Shirley Raffs and the Jennifer Lewis's, baby. Love Jennifer Lewis.
Had some talented artists on Broadway.
Yes.
Joelle, thank you. Tucson, yes, thank you. Marching forward. All right, as we close the show, we are just going to mention 10 ways that you can support a friend who has had a miscarriage. Zal, you talked about this a lot earlier, and that's just being there, people being there, being available. You don't have to always have the right words to say. I feel like we all want this deep intellectual download to come that we're supposed to spill out when sometimes you just need to be there. Don't worry about what it is you're going to say.
Yeah. Try to avoid cliches. We just gave you 10. Well, it wasn't 10. Well, maybe a good 8.
It was enough of them, though. Like, it wasn't time. Well, and I think that sometimes we quote Bible and it feels like cliche, but really it's real for us. You know, all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose.
Be like, but right now, baby, I don't feel like the things are working together.
Yeah. So it's like learning.
I don't want to love the Lord right now. You know, like,
right. Well, and you're just like in wisdom, learn when to use that. Yeah. Just tailoring that and reeling it in some, because we can't be so, you know, heavenly minded that we're no earthly good to the people we're supposed to serve. Offer empathy. Validate what they are going through.
Do something.
Yep. Anything. Come.
Sponsor dinner.
Send lunch. Clean the kitchen. You know, when you're depressed, you don't want to do anything.
You really don't.
Clean the kitchen, sweep mop, none of that.
Wash the car.
Laundry. Something. Adulting is just completely not one of the options you want to
bring in
partake in.
Yeah, just do anything. There are a ton of things that you can just do that will, like, execute something other than just prayer. Not saying that prayer is not prevalent, but that's not all we can do.
Yeah.
Be patient. We talked about that. Patient and long suffering. You don't know how long it's going to take someone to process through what their experience is. The healing journey looks different for everyone. What may take me 2 weeks may take someone else 2 days. It may take someone else 20 years. We don't know.
Yeah, so true.
So be patient.
Acknowledge the baby. Acknowledge the baby as a person. If the baby had a name, acknowledge the baby. There is a website. Let me see if I can find it right quick. I think it's the Star Legacy Foundation, where you can create stories or frames or something for like memorabilia for the baby. It's kind of helps with the healing process. So yes, acknowledge your baby.
Yes, and that is something that I do now. Like I right beside me is an open letter that I wrote her, because it was just like, these are my wishes, these are my hopes, but I'm also like realizing, sorry.
No, don't apologize.
I'm also like realizing like you are in the best place ever. Like all I ever dreamed about was for you to know God, and now
get
he
to meet him
carries
for
you.
me,
You know what I
girl.
mean? Now he carries you, and you see him face to face. And instead of me telling you about him, he tells you about me. And that I don't have to question if you're going to ever have a relationship, if you have to sway, if this evil in this world would make you mistrust God and not know who he is. But the simple fact of like, you don't have to know evil.
Yes.
You don't have to know a heartache. You don't ever have to cry or know what worry or anxiety or depression or suicidal thoughts feel like. And that brings me the joy. It brings me the joy. It
Yes.
does.
I've done really good episode. But that almost broke me down, y'all. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Yes.
And we would like for you to share your letter as well.
Sure.
If you feel comfortable
Oh,
with
I
it.
don't mind. I don't mind.
We discussed this earlier and Spider came in. Remember the dad.
Yes.
The men go through
Baby,
emotions and
Spider needs some
experiences.
tissue.
Yeah. That we don't really acknowledge. And again, it goes back to us supporting men in their mental health as well, and acknowledging that they are human, that they're not built of steel, but they are flesh and bone.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so true.
Go ahead, say it, Tina.
Well, yeah, they will also receive the charge to be fruitful and multiply and to provide. And it's something about a father's pride. Like, when Mufasa gave Simba to Rafiki to go up, that was a proud moment for Mufasa. So it's just that same, thing, like, oh yeah, like I have something in the place of building legacy,
Yeah.
Yes.
and that's important to a man. That's important to them.
Yes. Make sure you honor the special dates, whatever dates you set aside to honor, to remember. Set those dates aside so that you can honor those.
Give her something to hold on to. Can be anything. Something that commemorates
Her journey thus far.
her experience and her journey thus far, is something that she can leverage in those moments when she needs some hope as well. Not just honoring a loss or the what could have been, but that does not mean that it will never be.
Right.
Something to help get over the hump. And that was a lot of what the title of the episode was predicated on, was that one experience doesn't mean no forever. That
Yes.
you can continue on after a loss is not something that you have to hide in shame about. It's not something that you have to feel desperate about or be angst about.
Right.
So yeah.
Yep. And what I'll probably be the most good at is helping her find additional support. Why you laughing?
Because in some instances, you are the additional support.
Listen, help you find additional support.
Yes.
Listen, I pride myself in being the master of supporting. Listen, you need a supporter? Call me, girl.
Joelle says sometimes we fail to communicate our feelings because we don't know how to process them. That is valid. And
Yes.
to be honest, Joelle, you guys are not, and literally men, you're not given the space
Yes.
or a safe environment where you can feel and communicate what you are feeling without judgment. And that again is just this false narrative around men not being human, and you are. And especially in the covenant of marriage, both partners are responsible for creating an environment where the other partner is safe and can evolve. You don't have to stay the same person. I married 20 years ago. You are allowed to flourish and be all that God has called and created you to be, and not bear the weight of humanity by yourself.
And not have your moments of vulnerability brought back up to you in a negative manner.
Yeah, weaponizing emotions and how someone feels or what they share, right? Using it as a weapon against them. So absolutely, we support the gems, as we refer to them here on the Joule Drop. Definitely. And thank you all for tuning in, for chiming in, for encouraging our sister Zal. I put it all together, Zal V.
Oh, yeah.
Encouraging our sister Zal, and speaking life to her and allowing her to share her experience with everyone. And I truly believe it may not be tonight, it may be tomorrow, it may be 2 weeks from now, it could be 2 years from now, but this episode will certainly foster healing for someone who has experienced a loss in terms of miscarriage or stillbirth, or infancy loss. We didn't even get into like SIDS and all the other things that can happen when an infant passes away earlier than expected. October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. I am the face. I am 1 in 4.
Miscarriage, infant loss, stillbirth.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, we are going to close out. No. Oh,
Please hold.
please stand by. We're getting other production instructions. Can Zal share her? Can she share her letter? Oh yeah, we'll hop into the After Dark show. Zal, I would like for you to share
Share
your
your letter, and then we could go into
jump into
Okay.
After Dark.
Alrighty. So before I actually write this, preface this, that God gave me a list of names to name our children, and of course I wanted them to have impactful names and things of that nature. No shade to nobody, because my name is Zalmenta. Okay. It's just that one of my closest friends, lady friends, I look at her as like an aunt. Her name is Rhonda, and she said, well, I had a miscarriage, and God revealed to me the name of my child. And she says, I think that will help you along your way. And so thinking about it, it just, the name Zion rang out to me. And when you look up Zion, it's, the holy place, the heavenly place, Jerusalem. And so I was like, this makes so much sense why my angel baby's name would be Zion. So I just wanted to share that before I get into this, because her name's in here. I wrote this on the October 15th, which is the national holiday for infant loss, stillborn, miscarriage. And so it says, my sweet Zion, I think the world of you. I wanted to tell the world that you were here in this world, and I began writing in this notebook of letters for you. I have kept them, and I will cherish them, the sweet thoughts I have in expecting you. And I had this idea of introducing you to your grandmothers with purses that had a onesie inside. And I really haven't thought how I would tell you twin big brothers or sisters, but maybe I would have sent t-shirts or matching pajamas. And even though I wouldn't have done a whole production of a gender reveal, because that's not who your mommy is, I was thinking that your big cousin would tell everyone who you were in a video. I have this Pinterest board of all types of concepts for your nursery, something like green or neutral but feminine, like emerald green and coral and golden butterflies. I think that you would like them a lot. I wanted to make it something that you will grow into. I told your dad that for the newborn pictures that I would have you in ruffles, and the only thing that they would see is your cute little face. But the more I think about it, I would have wrapped you in our prayer shawl so you would never forget the holy place. Every day, I would count every finger and toe and declare life and affirmations over you. I would have played the shofar over you and sing hymns, and I would have told you about Deborah, Ruth, Mary, Joseph, Rhoda, God as Abba, Jesus as friend and Savior. I will show you the love of our faithful God with the moon and the stars, and I will tell you the names of the angels that stand guard over our home, and how prayer gives us access to God in such a beautiful way. At your birth, I wanted to have worship music, and when I had the opportunity for skin to skin, I would just pray and sing and pray and praise, and I would have anointed you and raised you up like Rafiki did Simba, because I know you were promised to me, no matter my insecurities, vulnerabilities, flaws, and shortcomings. I have been worthy of you. And thinking of that, I believe your middle name would be Grace. Now, when I wrote this, I didn't get so emotional about it.
It's okay. Yeah.
You would get so tired of me always singing something and always making a joke about something random, and always trying to feed you mashed potatoes in hopes that you will like them as much as I do. I have this desire to pick up knitting because you were handmade by God. And I wanted to honor in making things that suit you, pillows and dresses and blankets. Little baby, you would have hair bows and headbands everywhere, and ruffled socks and some with bells on them, which would have been smart parenting. To hear you babble and giggle and to feel you wiggle, to watch you discover. And your grandmothers, my goodness, what a time they would have with you. And I prayed and hoped that you will show them another piece of God's heart in a very new and special way. For holidays, I wouldn't even dress you up. I would just tell you that you are beautiful as is. I hope God shares with you about who your mommy is and that she had many plans for you. And I hope God tells you that he had plans for you in this world, and that he is sovereign God, that he has every right to change his mind. And as much as it hurts me, I am yet so delighted. Every day you get to see how God sets the weather forecast and how God listens to answers to prayer. And you now have knowledge of every star's name and purpose. You get to see the angels deliver miracle signs and wonders into the earth. You will rest in knowing that the peace is all around you. Your identity has been perfected and untarnished. And there will be no evil for my sweet Zion. You will never know evil, and it will never rob you of your dreams and destiny. You will not have to worry about generational curses, only blessings. You changed my life within 42 days. What a ministry. My views on life and life after this one has changed because of you. I know there is a God. Oh, Jesus. Jesus, Jesus. Having you here is a miracle, and having you with God is a manifestation and an answered prayer. I know that more than ever that God is real, and his miracles will leave you speechless. And I never felt more like a woman than ever before. I feel more purposed and more compassionate with myself, freer, because I realize the difference between hurt and bondage is active healing, is awareness. Feeling this loss is crippling, but God loves me through this moment is life-giving. Zion Grace Harris, your life here been complete, and my journey has been refreshed. And I know the day I will see you and I will know you. And I'll never stop loving you. I did so good today. Did so good today.
You did good right now.
You did great. Keep calm. My name is Zion.
That's right. Oh, Jesus.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Zal, for sharing.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. We'll take a quick break and we will be back on air with the After Dark show. Stay tuned.
Oh, my goodness.
Drop After Dark. I am Natural Quiche.
I am Nina B. This is the Joule Drop After Dark. So this is our post 9 p.m. segment, and we decided to start airing these because so much conversation takes place after we actually air a show. So it is a little less formal, much more relaxed and transparent. As you can see, we decided to grab a quick snack.
Okay.
But we're going to hop right into it.
You know you the side piece when.
You get a Valentine's Day gift on the day after he proposes to his girlfriend. Because that
Zal
happened in
jumped
college.
right into...
You get your Valentine's gift the day after he proposed to his girlfriend. Shut up. On Facebook.
Woo, that was fast.
I wrecked the whole house. That's what
I
happened.
don't even know if I can come up on that. It was so fast. You know you the side piece when.
I was going to say when you only see him at night.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
When you only see him after 10, baby.
You know you're a side piece when he only texts, never call.
That part. Might be a catfish.
Might be a catfish, not a side piece. Be careful, ladies.
Baby, it's a whole lot of them. And let me tell you about these Dallas streets. There's a lot of them that don't
get
pick
in
up
'em.
the phone and
Don't
call.
play in traffic.
Don't do it. She
She
can't.
can't do Thanksgiving dinner. She can't go to Thanksgiving dinner.
That's
Can't go to Thanksgiving dinner. You'll never have the opportunity to meet the family. You hang out with a select group of friends who know you the side piece.
That's it.
And the cool cousin.
And the real cool cousin.
And the real cool cousin.
They try to put you on game.
That's going to ride or die with you and going to match every lie you tell.
Yes. Anybody who can sign off on that deception.
Okay.
Yep. What's next? We got another one.
My girlfriend is horrible. So I have a side chick, and I'm actually falling in love with her. Sir, you are...
Huh?
First of all, you got caught up because you fell in love with a side chick.
Yeah, you should have.
But second of all, sir, you are a H-E-A-U-X. You a hoe.
A hoe.
Not a husband.
He's a hoe.
I love being the side guy for married women. No drama, hot sex, and personal space when we want it.
Is he talking about the dude or the woman? Because
No,
there's
this
this
a
show.
guy.
Okay, because there was this story that is out on Facebook where there's a gender reveal.
I don't think I heard this.
There's a
Facebook
gender
story.
reveal, and the husband said, "Oh, please come to our side guy's gender reveal because my and it's like for his wife and the side dude, and it's clearly said that his wife and the side dude, and everybody's like, well, you gonna have like 200 strangers at this gender reveal because we trying to see who the daddy, who's the pappy, who's the daddy."
Baby, not
So he said our baby, our boyfriend. So I was like, oh, so sorry, I guess you couldn't get him pregnant. I guess.
Baby,
Wow.
talk about some tea.
That is messy. Having a side piece is hard when they start catching feelings. You're breaking the rules of engagement.
Just let's not have a side. Just be single.
Get your hoe.
Like,
Oh,
That's it. That's all.
that was it? That was all?
oh,
That was good and fast. And
Straight to the
Zal,
point.
you jumped just right
Baby, she came.
in and delivered fast. We appreciate that. Rip that Band-Aid right on off. Got to it real fast.
Yes.
See what happened.
All right,
was-
and don't forget our Tuesday talks that happen every Tuesday on our social media platforms. You can
Yes.
catch those on Instagram and on
Facebook. So if you have a Tuesday talk that you would like for us to cover, drop us a note. After dark, please comment on the Joule Drop Facebook page.
Baby,
Thank you,
'cause
Spider.
You know when you decide peace wins.
Win.
Yes,
Yes,
let
you
us
know you
know,
decide
'cause,
peace win.
Win.
Actually, I think I'm going to do a separate post on that one and see what the people come back with. All right, so thank you all for joining us on this episode of the Joule Drop. Zal, thank you again for stopping by and sharing your testimony and your journey. And again, I believe
a pleasure.
that it will foster healing for other women.
Yeah.
And we are praying for you and the abundance that is going to come forth in your journey. Don't forget, we are live every second and fourth Friday on Power Play Podcast TV. We will be back live on November 12th with more topics, more Do It for the Cultures. Oh, hoodies on the website this week. They will drop. Make sure you go to the website, www.thejouledrop.com. Get any of the merch that you see available today and grab a hoodie because it's about to get cold, and y'all know Texas weather just creep up on you. It don't really announce itself that it's coming. It's just you wake up one day with ice, snow, no electricity, and trying to live life.
Let us not talk about the grid that they are speculating may not be able to carry us through.
Well, they haven't refreshed the infrastructure the way they need to, right?
No, they haven't, but you know they already talking about.
Yeah.
That
gonna
all
happen.
I'm saying is, Lord, keep the Colts up north.
Yeah,
not
don't
gonna
bring
happen.
it down this way.
She go to Florida. I go where?
California,
Yes.
baby, send me to Panama. I want to be.
CA me all day.
I
I
wanna be
love the
close
weather
to the
in Southern
equator.
Cal. Love it.
Want to be closest to the equator where it never gets cold.
All right. We love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time. Peace.